Yeah, this was a stopping ground back in the day.
Man.
I grew up at Northampton and Kerr, 935 Northampton. There was a house right here.
Yeah.
There was a meat store here.
Wow.
And my cousin lived in that house before the house, the gray house. My cousin lived over there. And a couple of my friends, Randy Smith, this girl I liked, lived in that White House there.
Wow.
And it was the whole families. It was families all on this block, all on this street.
Yeah.
And then there was a bar here, Morgan's.
Okay.
That was here for a lot of years.
Wow.
And a friend of mine who actually was one of my first campaign managers for when I ran for council member, Smitty Morris, his family lived right there.
Right there.
It was a 2-family house there, a double.
Okay.
And so, I mean, you look at this neighborhood, you just keep wondering why. Why does our neighborhood deteriorates to this extent where we got gaping lots? I can see from this street over to Fugeron.
Right.
You know, before you could never see that.
Yeah.
I would walk up Kerr to School 59. You know, when I was a little boy, walked to School 59, and then I walked the other way up Kerr to Genesee to School 90.
Yeah, it's amazing how these gaping lots are. And back in the day, there was a lot of houses on these blocks. Okay, so it was a lot of houses, both sides of the street.
Yeah.
You know, and now, you know, they talk about bringing more housing stock in, but they had opportunities all along to do this.
Yeah.
As soon as we knocked something down, we should have been trying to put something up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the frustrating piece, and I understand what the residents feel. Like, you know, you go to a old neighborhood where you grew up and you see this type of devastation, and you're like, why? Why is it always in our community that it seems like this? Now, we're gonna go somewhere else and I'm gonna show you a school I went to, and you're not gonna see anything like this there. Right. But it's always in our neighborhood. And so I understand the residents' frustrations when they go back and they say, you know, look at these gaping lots and, you know, the housing. Although the assessments go up, we know that these houses may not be assessed as high as others.
And they feel the same way, but why should we vote? Why should we get into the process when everything looks like it looks? You know what I mean? And right now, our objective is to try to bring this back as best that we can. And we gonna need your help to bring this back. Look at what we're looking at. You're looking at the trees all over here. You're looking at stuff all over here that was once booming.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at it and it's like, wait a minute, where are we?
Yeah.
You understand?
I mean, this was a vital neighborhood. You know, and as you talked about, people had jobs. They had the it was Canada Dry. It was at the corner, a Fugeron and Kerr, and people were there working. You know, matter of fact, we would go trick or treating, and they would give us little sodas back in the day.
Come on, man!
But now, you know, what do these kids do? I mean, they can play in the lots if they want, but we have to bring our community back, and it has to be bit by bit. And we need everybody on board to make that happen. I don't want to just be about talk. I want to be about action.
That's right.
And so I'm not going to make promises I can't keep, but best believe you will be at the table as we talk about how do we deal with these gaping lots in our community. We talk about a housing crisis. Well, here's some spaces that we can put houses for people who in need, especially if we can make it affordable and where they can actually own it and not just be renting.
And as you said, up and down.
Up and down. Two families.
Yes, sir.
We can do that. Matter of fact, growing up over here, Will, we played football in the street. You know how we do that.
Right.
From pole to pole.
Yeah.
And I would be out here, you know, my man, Jermaine, he was a older guy. He would have us in the middle of the street playing with Smitty, playing football. And we were out here having fun. Once in a while, I would have to go back in the house because I would fall in some crap. And my mom be like, get in here. But you were out here having fun, man. You were having fun in your neighborhood. So it wasn't necessarily going to the park or going anywhere. You can do that right in your neighborhood. And we can do a lot of that now. I mean, look at all the green grass we got.
You have a couple football games going on at one time. You know what I'm saying?
This is it, man. Pole to pole. That's what I used to do.
All right.
I used to play hockey down there. We used to go all the way down there to the very end and play hockey.
Right. Well,
cars
wasn't coming as much.
Yeah, because that's where what's the name of the beer place was down there?
Okay, not a Coors, not
Coors. What was it?
Black Label.
It was the beer company was down there.
Okay.
So you would see the beer, the trucks would be coming back and forth. And that was I'm trying to think exactly what that used to be back in the day. But you look at the houses here too. I mean, they could use some additional resources, you know.
Yeah, and some of them are trying to keep it up.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Some of them are trying
you know,
to.
and that's the thing. You know, you have people who live here who still haven't given up.
That's
that
right.
continue to try to keep their property the best they can.
I agree.
They apply for grants and things, and unfortunately, because of our process, you know, I think of the American Rescue money and the dollars that have come through from the federal government that weren't made readily available to residents.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part. But we do have some hope. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk about 8 Days of Hope.
Okay.
Because 8 Days of Hope had come through the University District and down there in the Niagara District. But there are resources that we can use, organizations to help us to get some of this done. Now, with 8 Days of Hope, it's a lottery, but still there's an opportunity to get some immediate assistance. It's not something that's going to take years or months. It's going to be days, but it's just giving them the resources to be able to do it. And so that's one of the things I want to do is see how we can give organizations like 8 Days of Hope that help us with housing and repairs to help people, especially our seniors. You know, seniors and people that live in these types of neighborhoods that if 8 Days of Hope was here, they could be able to take care of that porch for them for free. For free, you know.
That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of leadership we want.
Oh yeah,
we want that type of leadership versus people that's just talking about coming in here and doing something for the community. And when they had a chance all the time and they never did anything.
And that's the thing I just keep on amplifying is that you know people are talking about what they're going to do, but I've been doing it in my district. And although it's been on a lower scale, I have been progressive in talking to the residents and hearing from them and acting on their issues, not just on my own. So I think that's really important if we're going to move our city forward and help people to get confidence that we know what we're doing.